morning, campers, families, alumni, and friends. Happy Sunday. I welcome you to our last chapel service of this unique summer 2020. While we have truly enjoyed being able to continue to bring our messages to you in spirit, we yearn for the Sundays where we can once again be together under the same rec hall roof, sharing the same one-of-a-kind sights, sounds, and smells of Red Arrow. It is with great anticipation I eagerly await what will be the most highly anticipated summer in our history. I'd like to take a moment to give sincere thanks to many of our current staff, alumni, and even families who have rolled up their sleeves, bringing care to camp this summer. You know who you are. I love you guys, and camp does too. Lastly, to everyone watching, please continue to stay connected with us, support us, and believe in us. I make a promise to you all, that we will continue to respond from this setback with vigor and a newfound resolve that will solidify a foundation of direction that will no doubt point us true north together for 2021 and the next 100 years. We love you all, and we will see you down the river soon. Be wise and well.
It's kind of interesting because your last memory of camp is always like the closing ceremonies. Isn't that like an interesting like final memory of camp? Huh.
Camp, I'm leaving, but I'm not leaving you behind. And I know we'll both come back. I take a breath, I almost smell that Northwoods pine. I watched when we last said goodbye. Summer evenings have me hearing dinner bells and smell the cooking on the fire. And I still got my scarf, I'm still proud of what it tells. But some things I can't explain. I learned to sail a boat, then I taught someone else. And if you look closely in cabin H, my name's still on the shelf. And I learned a man never stands so straight when he stoops down to help. Only need one match to light a fire. Oh. And I discussed philosophy while sitting in the 8. And I learned, boy, that to be a great man I didn't have to wait. Baba Ruba, and I don't know if you know what's free till you've been dipping in Trout Lake. Only takes a spark to light a fire. Oh, and I learned to keep climbing higher. And I will take with me the memories that we made. And I will take with me your light. And I will take and take, but you will only give. Red Arrow, you are my home. Big campfire, we've sung to you. Big campfire, we've come to you. Big campfire, we're one with you. Good night, Red Arrow. Good night.
If you can keep your head when all men about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for the doubting too, If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same way, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stood and build it up with worn out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you will be a man, my son.
Resilience is all about being able to overcome the unexpected. Sustainability is about survival. The goal of resilience is to thrive.
It is your reaction to adversity, not adversity itself, that determines how your life story will develop.
Love you guys.
Have a nice summer.
Flow. Everything that comes to us comes to pass, or more accurately, for us to pass on. Not just the money in our pocket, but wisdom, objects, ideas, and even opportunities all come to us so that at the right moment we can pass them on. This is called flow. Being in the flow means being aware that the river of life is flowing to us at every moment. Being in the flow means accepting whatever comes and putting it to the good use before passing it on. Going with the flow means allowing whatever comes to move on freely without holding on in any way. If we do not pass on, we are trying to block the flow, and that's when we feel pressure in our life. Pressure is always self-inflicted. Every time you feel under pressure, look at what you need to release and to pass on to someone else. Once you do, you can relax again.
This is the life. Here's where the living is. This is the life at RAC. This is the life. Where else would I wanna be? Sun shining down, breathe in that air, dip in the lake as eagles fly above. Hear the loon call the great north woods. This is the life. Here's where it's happening. This is the life at RAC. This is the camp where friendships last for life. This is the place we're here to stay. Memories that last long after we are gone, calling us back year after year. This is the life. That's how it's gonna be while we're apart from RAC. Goodbye, my friends, until we meet again at RAC. This is the life for me.
I want to be like water, flowing freely with the current. I want to be like water, infiltrating life into the seeds buried deep. I want to be like water, forcefully falling down, then peacefully swaying to the tune of the serenity of the sea. I want to be like water, rushing and relaxing when need be. I want to be like water, riding with the tide and tumbling over rocks. I want to be like water, quenching the thirst of the driest areas on earth. I want to be like water, rippling the influence of the rock's first splash. I want to be like water, reflecting the beauty of a sunset that ignites every eye. I want to be like water, resourceful for all. I want to be the water, cleansing out impurities from within. I want to be like water, flowing wherever you are. I want to be like water, making its way through the cracks, even when the barrier is concrete. Making its way through the cracks, even when the barrier is concrete. These last words of this poem knocked me down when I first heard them not long ago. I'm grateful for these words and imagery, and I hope at the conclusion of my message, they will fill your heart as well with a feeling of resolve and resilience. I imagine, like myself, you may be feeling as though the year 2020 has shaped up to be and continues to be a daunting barrier in several aspects of your life, physically, socially, academically, and emotionally. Because let's face it, this has been really hard and scary. It's okay to feel down without being able to put those feelings into words. It's okay to be sad and even cry sometimes when you are overwhelmed with disappointment. I encourage you to be vulnerable and let your feelings flow by sharing them rather than trapping them inside. And boys, while your parents are there for you, don't hesitate to call upon friends to just listen. Being a camp director away from camp sure gets lonely. I'd love to talk with you and be there for you. We are in a time where we all need support and patience for one another. It's okay not to be okay sometimes. Our lives seemingly have been turned upside down in a variety of ways because of this mountainous, heavy cloud of insecurity and health risk, then also coupled with disturbing societal civil unrest. Your normal day-to-day lives turned upside down without a traditional school experience, forced distance relationships, limited to no extracurriculars, and the ultimate heartbreak for all of us, no summer at Red Arrow. We've seen our loved ones and neighbors treading water to keep afloat, all the while yearning for a sense of normalcy. Sometimes it's like being on the banana boat, or the rock wall, the ropes course, barely hanging on and wishing for a firm grip to feel stable and secure. Yes, we've been presented a river of one-of-a-kind obstacles and hardships that cannot help but tire us and bring worry for other unknown obstacles that may await down the river of our lives. Now, I don't know about you, but one area of constant growth for me is to be able to roll with the punches and find acceptance in the unknown. I tend to put the cart before the horse and create scenarios in my head that I swear will happen and be really bad, but you know what? They usually don't happen. One of my favorite song lyrics is from Tom Petty. Campers, ask your parents who he is. He has a tune that I often whisper to myself when I find myself tired with worry. I'm so tired of being tired, sure as night will follow a day, but most things I worry about never happen anyway. I have an idea. I would suggest a different way to absorb our world right now. Rather be a vessel of worry, is that I suggest we be a vessel of water. A far out notion at first, but let me explain. Much like the simple rhythm and reactions in our lives at Red Arrow, challenging times can be met with simple measures of response that can make all the difference. Right now, you are listening to my message with much unknown ahead of you for your school year and what it will look like, what your sports league and activities will be like, and what unknown restrictions still could await for your lives. Now you can either choose to continue to worry or even be mad at what you think is unfair, or you can be like water. Water is one of the 5 traditional simple elements in which our environment depends on to exist. We and Mother Nature cannot live without it. Beyond consumption, it hydrates and brings life to all creations. It cleanses us and provides us travel to some of the most beautiful places in the world. There is no life without it. To meet these needs requires flexibility and resiliency. When water hits an obstacle, it flows around it. But when an object not flexible or fluid hits the same obstacle, it either breaks or it never gets past. Water is formless, it is shapeless. You put water in a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water in an Nalgene bottle, yes, it becomes the Nalgene bottle. You put water in Trout Lake, it becomes Trout Lake. Water adapts and must change to its current surroundings to bring life. Because listen carefully, boys, and don't forget this. Change is the only constant in our lives. Your ability to be like water and adapt to change, to be resilient, will shape your attitude and perspective of what you can learn from these challenging times. There is an old fable about a farmer with one horse. It goes like this. A farmer had only one horse. One day his horse ran away. His neighbors said, "I'm so sorry. That is such bad news. You must be so upset." The man just said, "We'll see." A few days later, his horse came back with 20 wild horses following. The farmer and his son corralled all 20 horses. His neighbors said, "Congratulations! This is such good news. You must be so happy." The man said, "We'll see." One of the wild horses kicked the man's only son, breaking both his legs. The man just said, when asked if he'll be upset or how he feels about that, "We'll see." The country went to war and every able-bodied young man and drafted was to fight. The war was terrible and killed every young man, but the farmer's son was spared since his broken legs prevented him from being drafted. His neighbors said, "Congratulations, this is such good news. You must be so happy." The man just said, "We'll see." What is up with this farmer, right? Well, what's up with this crazy farmer is that he has truly developed resilience. He has become water. He's steady, he's ready, and whatever obstacle comes his way, he's going to look it straight in the eye, then flow through it with grace. You see, boys, the farmer understands that every skyrocketing pleasure or stomach-churning defeat defines not who he is, but simply where he is. The farmer knows that what happens in life only serves to help him to see where he is and decide which way to flow next. Upon learning that we would not be together this summer, I told you that one of the many great lessons that I've learned at Red Arrow is that disappointment builds character and strength. And our reaction to this adversity, not the adversity itself, will show how resilient we are as a family. Each pain making us stronger, every disappointment more skillful, and experience wiser. What if 2020 is not canceled and lost to us? What if this year is the year we have been waiting for? A year so uncomfortable, so scary, so raw, that it forces us to grow together. A year we finally accept a need for change. A year where you found new places of imagination, creativity, better habits, and experiences that you would not have had otherwise. Maybe 2020 isn't canceled, but rather the most important year of them all. I want to be like water, flowing freely with the current. I want to be like water, infiltrating life into the seeds buried deep. I want to be like water, forcefully falling down, then peacefully swaying to the tune of the serenity sea. I want to be like water, flowing wherever you are. I want to be like water, making its way through the cracks, even when the barrier is concrete. Boys, be the water, not the rock. Although there are 324 days until summer 2021 begins, no matter how long it takes, true love is always worth the wait. Amen.
Rivers and roads, rivers and roads, rivers to life.
And now may the peace of the forest, the call of the loons, the inspiration of the hills, the warmth of the sun, the strength of the trees, the fragrance of the woods, the joy of a wind, the calm of the lake, and all of which is the creator of all good things, be in your hearts today and always.
Rivers and roads, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Rivers and roads, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Rivers and roads, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Rivers and roads, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Rivers and roads.